professional wrestling.
I'm the greatest man that ever lived.
Do you know who I am?
Creatures! I'm the Stinger, and I'm not done yet! I'm not done yet!
Go on then, you want to lead?
I shall lead, and I will be the best leader in the entire universe.
You have to lean a bit closer maybe.
Okay.
Not that close.
Okay. Aloha, and welcome to TNR Podcast Numero
What does TNR stand for?
Dos. It's Dos 2. Yeah, Dos is 2. TNR. TNR stands for Total Nonstop Rewind.
Now do the intro again in reverse.
Okay. Rewind, non-stop, total.
No, I mean like rewinding.
What? Okay. And then do I say the words in backwards or not?
That'll do.
Okay, right. First thing on the agenda is introductions.
Yes.
I was going to miss that.
You were. This is why I should do this show.
Shut up. Okay, as you can probably tell,
Hello.
that is Dan. And speaking right now,
Hello.
it's the Innovator of Annoyance, Rod Bilson.
I'm going to be really annoying.
And here is my sidekick and second in command.
And sexual partner.
And maybe that as well.
Alright, I have to introduce myself.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it for you.
At least I did your nickname last time.
Yeah, but you did it all wrong.
The Jobber Blogger. Dan Wilkinson. So, are you going to do these or shall I do these? In fact, let's just carry on with introductions and pleasantries.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I was better before you turned up.
Oh, okay.
Welcome back! Technical faults, like changing the batteries, which have plagued us for like an hour last time we were trying to do this. Yeah, but I wasn't really looking in the microphone, I was just rambling. I'm sorry, listeners, if there is any. Sarah, probably, is the only one. I've listened to it a few times. In fact, for anyone who's interested, from like a trivia point of view, we have like over 30 views on the first TNR podcast. 20 of those are me, because for some reason I could refresh the page and it still counted it. So in terms of us being a successful wrestling podcast, we could just refresh the page every day and then like make a business out of it.
Yeah, we could refresh it like a million times.
Yeah.
That's quite a good idea. We should do
So
that.
screw you, people. Hello.
Okay, so
That's really close to the microphone.
shut up.
You're not singing.
I am.
Well, not yet. We're not.
All right. So first on the
Well, I'm doing it.
thing here,
You're doing it. You need to introduce it as the lockups.
I thought you said we're not going to do individual things anymore.
Well, we're going to do it like the lockups, and we can still do rerun. I just meant that we don't have to stop recording. We just keep going.
Okay. All right. So
I was thinking we should have like a little jingle.
the lockups.
Not quite, but we could introduce it to lockups, and then you could do it because obviously I'm an avid Podcast Beyond listener. So when they do the Roper report, they do it like a newsreel. Obviously, this isn't news.
Right.
It's wrestling. So you have the wrestling bell. Ding ding ding. That's how it works.
Okay.
It could be the following round is scheduled for 6 falls because that exists.
Right.
Good.
Okay.
Glad we're on this.
Okay.
Go on then. Your turn.
Right. My turn. I might actually ruin this then.
If you want to.
Okay.
You want to take charges. Man.
Right. Okay. I'll take charge. Right.
Also, we did say this is going to be a monthly podcast, but we're doing it a week later, but technically we are in May.
We are still in May. Okay. Right.
You had no idea what I meant.
First on the list here.
Didn't even do the introduction of the lockups.
Ah. Ding ding ding. The lockups. How's
The
that?
following contest is scheduled for
6.
topics.
Okay. Right.
But you can read that, and I'll do the quotey bits that I pulled out.
Okay. Right. Topic 1.
Lockup 1.
Lockup 1.
6 topics.
I'll see.
Go on. Wasting time.
Mickey James's rant.
Really? That's what you're going to say about it? Basically, if anyone paid any attention to it, who was it who did it? Chris Kelly, who the hell that is. Some crap radio show, Running the Ropes it's called. It's on Facebook.com. I've never checked it out, but I might spam the page with TNR.
It's all over WrestleZone. It's a basic, crappy WrestleZone podcast.
Oh, forget it then.
Yeah.
But basically, Mickie James had a talk about her running TNA and what she thinks of certain things. I mean, we're fairly sure it's probably just a heel thing.
Well, if she's going to slug up a company, it's not going to be very good. Like,
We're doing it again. And we're back!
I think it's still doing it.
No, it's fine. That's quieter. Don't know why it does that. Go ahead, carry on.
Right. As I was saying,
Slagging off.
if she's going to slug up a company,
Yeah.
it's not going to be a very good idea to try and get more airtime. All she's going to do is be in their bad books, and she'll be left at home, basically, for not making TNA sound like a fantastic company. So in my opinion, the entire interview is nothing but her being in character, like leaning towards her being a heel.
Quote. I know people question that, like, oh, are you turning heel? And I'm like, no, not really, I'm just being honest, says Mickie James. Rod, do it in Mickie James's voice.
Which bit am I reading?
Are you turning heel? And I'm like, no.
Are you turning heel? And I'm like, no, not really. I'm just being honest.
So realistically, her main points are kind of valid though, because I mean, she did injure herself, but she was off TV. She was brought back. A week later, they brought back Velvet, who then took all that spotlight, and now Mickie disappeared again off TV. Now she is back again, which of course in TNA you'd like to think that they actually do know what they're doing, and it all is going to build into a story. But then it is TNA, so therefore that's incredibly doubtful.
Yeah, but the one thing which is different between WWE and TNA is the fact that TNA knows how to play the internet, such as Devon leaving the company. Oh wait, no he's not, he's in Aces and Eights.
Rob Van Dam.
Who I couldn't care less about, but there you go.
But yeah, so there is that. I still think Bobby Roode's whole contract situation is working. I think they're not going to just randomly forget to sign people. Like, whoops, terribly sorry, I forgot to sign a new contract.
Yeah, but what? They didn't actually do anything with that, did they? So what's the point in that?
I don't know. Has it gone funny? No, it's...
He needs to get a new microphone.
We should invest. So listeners, give us some likes on YouTube and we'll get some money, in which case we'll spend it on buying stuff. Microphone related, possibly software, possibly Pepsi, and sweets, laces preferable.
Indeed.
Anyway, Mickie James also had a rant about the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships.
Which I agree with. It is stupid how it's on ODB and that other guy.
Eric Young.
That's the one.
But it's more stupid by the fact that they have Knockouts Tag Team Championships.
Yeah.
They have tag belts for a division that they don't have any wrestlers for. That's awesome. That's great. In fact, currently, if we can have a rant about the titles, the World Heavyweight scene sucks. Let's just throw that one out there. Because for the last 2 months, or the last 2 pay-per-views, we're supposed to have these awesome build-ups in between. Basically, Hogan's just played Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo and chosen the guy 2 weeks before the show. Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo, brother.
Which is usually either his best friend or his son-in-law.
So, these great build-ups really suck. And Bully Ray is kind of irrelevant now. He hasn't even wrestled, and I don't really care currently. So I think the World Heavyweight title scene actually needs a good storyline in it, and actually have grudge matches and feuds based to it, rather than just picking people at random. So that's a bit boring. TV.
They just need to have a decent #1 contendership match, like a Elimination Chamber or Royal Rumble or something like that.
True, but then they also need to do, in between places, actual story-driven matches as well. Which I guess Sting kind of is, because Sting's been fighting Aces and Eights and Bully Ray and Sting were partners-ish. But it's still a bit crap.
Agreed.
The TV title is no longer really relevant. Devon just wears it as an accessory.
A dog collar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Don't know. The X Division belt sucks. I think they should just kill the X Division. That might be controversy.
Kill the X Division.
It's kind of bland.
The triple threat matches all the time is bland, yeah. But if they want to be different to WWE, what they need to do is focus on things which WWE don't have.
I guess, but I mean, the X Division, what was, no longer exists.
Yeah.
And they won't even let the stars compete in that thing for like health and safety reasons. So in which case, it's a bit silly, and they don't really do a lot with it, and they keep running out of ideas to do with it.
The X Division is kind of WWE's version of the Intercontinental Championship, really, isn't it?
I would have said cruiserweights, but alright.
Yeah, all that, yeah.
What else is there? The tag division. You've got 3 teams on circulation for all the way through this year into late last year, and they're still feuding, so that's awesome. No one gets bored of watching the same thing every week. So yeah, I think that goes for thing number 1. Go on. Number 2.
Yeah, but according to this, that is just Mickey James's run, and that's not true.
What do you mean?
The paper is incorrect.
Why is the paper incorrect?
Because it says Mickey James's run.
Yeah, we covered Mickey James talking about stuff, and then we just didn't talk about it.
Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2.
I should run the show.
5-star wrestling.
For anyone interested, have you seen the new video for 5-star wrestling?
Yeah, and I thought it looked crap.
No.
It's kind of like a PS2 wrestling game.
Well, you haven't seen anything of it yet.
Yeah, but the graphics are crap, and
Well, it's a downloadable game. I think it's made by a studio of 15 people from Scotland, and I don't think graphics are what they're aiming for. They're aiming for technicality, and their idea is to build like a proper working wrestling game that actually has wrestling physics and logic. So, I mean, one thing I've always found annoying is that you could just pick up Big Show if you're playing as Rey Mysterio, for instance. That sucked. If you injure people's legs, they can still perform moves, which sucks. Whereas they've counted a lot of that in this. So therefore, if you've got like an injury, it affects your moveset. So therefore, you can't actually perform and or wrestle, which also gives you the advantage or disadvantage, and actually makes you play in a tactical manner.
yeah, but it does look like a PS2 game.
Graphics aren't everything, Rod.
Yeah, I know, but if you want to play a PS2 game, you may as well just play a PS2 game.
I, for one, though, am actually quite excited to see what it looks like. I don't just mean from what it looks like. I mean, I would actually buy it and play it because I like wrestling mechanics, and I think a wrestling game... We haven't had a really good wrestling game in a long time.
SmackDown 2007.
That wasn't that great.
Here Comes the Pain.
I think that was the last
Yeah.
really good one that I enjoyed, at least. And for sticking with TNA, the actual first TNA Impact game wasn't that bad. If they had longer development time, it would have been better because everyone had the same moveset, which is a flaw. Number 3.
Number 3. TNA being live from Glasgow, Scotland.
Scotland. Dixie Carter has just announced that TNA Impact Wrestling will broadcast live from Glasgow on Thursday, the January 30th. This will be TNA's first ever live show on Challenge TV in the UK, and the first ever TV taping in the great country of Scotland by any international wrestling company. I think it also airs live worldwide, doesn't it?
I don't know. I think it's going to be
There's
taped.
something else in here.
I think it's going to be taped like a couple of hours before it's broadcast in America.
Maybe.
I think that's what it said.
Still, for anyone who wants to do something that wants to attend big, like, record-breaking-ish TNA events, then the first ever show in Scotland being the first ever TNA live taping. I kind of gone off the rails, but yeah, go to Scotland. Interesting though. Do you think they'd film it? It's a Thursday, so Challenge TV is airing it on a Thursday. So that means that they might change the air dates going forward. If we can air it live over here, surely they could film it and we can air it live on Challenge TV.
I don't think they mean it'll be aired live in the UK. I think it'll be aired live in America, and then we'll get it on a normal day.
That would suck.
Yeah, I agree, but
It says first ever live show on Chinese TV, so So they're airing it live and they're filming it.
Yeah, but it doesn't...
In the UK.
It doesn't say live in the UK. It says live, which will probably just mean America, because since America shows on Thursday.
First ever live show on Shinies TV in the UK.
I don't know.
We should really get more details. It's a bit sketchy currently. Go on.
Okay.
Actually, whilst we're on that, I don't think it's on this, but they did also say... Oh no, it's on the next one. Never mind, carry on.
Also, the arena's called Hydro.
Also, it sucks because it's in Scotland.
True, but the fact it's called Hydro makes me believe it's in like a sort of like an underwater, like arena.
Number 4.
Okay, number 4.
What did I just put? Dixie Q&A.
Dixie Q&A.
This is from the TNA fan party last week. There's not really much to cover in this one. Apparently, people are chatting for the pay-per-views. Dixie responded saying that she is receptive to the idea, like an antenna, but wanted any live event to be viewed as wide as an audience as possible. So I guess that's a no currently, but maybe have a TNA PPV in the future, or perhaps things they're going to do for, maybe they do have plans to announce a pay-per-view. See? But they're not going to do it from Scotland, because Scotland sucks and it's all underwater.
It would be good if they had a pay-per-view in the UK though, yeah.
Speaking of, the other part of the Q&A, I said D and Q, I don't know what they said. All 4 TNA events in the UK next January, February will be taped for TV, which means that they are doing tapings in Glasgow, Manchester, London and Birmingham. Which if they're doing on the current schedules, it means they're filming 2 shows per night. So I can't imagine that they'll do 2 months worth of TV, because that would really suck. And as people who attended both TV tapings this year, it really made watching it boring. I mean, it's kind of nice to see what it looked like after you saw it live, but because you already knew what was going to happen for the entire month of watching it, it was kind of really dull.
Yeah.
So if anyone's going to be that dedicated to attend all of these shows back to back, you're going to be in for a good boring 2 months.
I'd agree with that.
Unless they did 1 taping in Glasgow, maybe 2 in Manchester, 2 in London, and a pay-per-view in Birmingham. Or in London, because there's Genesis.
But if we attend all of them like we did in January, then we'll still know what happens for 2 months.
To be fair, though, with TNA storytelling, despite the fact they write it 6 months in advance, nothing happens anyway, so we'll probably know what's going to happen a month before the shows even start.
True.
Or now.
In fact, this coming week on Impact, I'm actually going to do a word count as to how many times they say the words next week. Because I think it's a bit above like 10, and it's kind of getting a bit ridiculous.
And if Hogan's doing an announcement, you're at least going to get 10 of that just in that one announcement, because he repeats himself a lot.
Yeah.
Brother. Jack.
He's probably going a bit senile.
I think he just gets given too much information to try and put across that he stumbles around trying to like tell the announcements rather than just trying to get a feel for just talking with guys. I don't mean we're talking with guys because he's not like gay apart from that.
I don't know, did you ever see that blooper from SmackDown when he was talking to Vince?
I don't think so.
And he said, "You thought I was the right gay guy."
Oh, I might have seen that.
It's the right time. Yeah, that's quite funny.
And finally, from Dix's Q&A, she touted the success of the first TNA British boot camp that appeared on our screens earlier this year in the UK. She said they are looking to do another one. Why bother, really?
Yeah.
Rockstar Spud has done absolutely nothing. The most he's been involved in the show is you can vote for him to be in a match. And to be fair, they voted for Suicide, so chances that it's probably just going to be Rockstar Spud wearing Suicide's costume, because that's all Suicide ever is. They just get different people to play him.
Talking of pointless...
Talking of what? Punt.
Pointless things in TNA.
Punty.
Another pointless thing is...
What?
The thing where everyone's like, yeah, you can have the contract, but no one ever does anything.
Gut check.
That's the one.
Yeah. Interesting, if you go on ImpactWrestling.com and you look under the roster, they haven't actually put everyone who they've given a yes to on the roster, but some of them are. Like the earlier ones, they actually are on the active roster, despite the fact they're in OVW. Also, Rob Van Dam's still on there, if that's assigned to anything. It just probably means that they've just not got bothered to changing the website yet, because that's I mean, if you look on the pictures of the wrestlers, they're really old.
Yeah.
Although they did make a point to put Mr. Anderson on with his Aces and Eights gear, but you click on like Kazarian, he's still got long hair. So I mean,
Yeah, their website isn't great.
no, it's not.
No.
But that's why they made a brand new one just for the knockouts,
Which I've not actually been on yet, to be honest.
and there's no point.
Yeah. It's probably just like the Divas one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no point going on
We don't like women.
that. Okay. Numero 5.
That's not very foreign.
Foreign.
What is 5? I know what 5 is.
So it's sank in French, I know that.
Oh, there it is. Into trois quatre. What is sink?
I'm pretty sure it's sank.
Oh, sink and sank. Titanic. Nerds. There's a reference you won't get.
Okay. Number 5.
Go on.
Hogan's Fame.
See, I should have put a bit more of a thing on these pointers. I just did that so we have an idea what we're talking about. In terms of titles, it doesn't really say anything. But basically, during a recent interview with Bang Showbiz, let me get the names, Dixie Carter had the following to say about Hulk Hogan's fame and importance to TNA. She put, "He is bigger than any brand, company, name. He is synonymous with wrestling and is probably one of the most recognizable faces or figures on the entire planet." She goes on to say, "Name me someone who's alive today." There's quite a few people who are alive. Who'd be more recognizable in any corner of the world, in places like Africa. No one goes to Africa. Asia, or if you're walking in Thailand for some reason. Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, maybe. But they aren't even with us anymore. The Rock! What's the point of saying that?
Yeah, it's a bit random.
If you're walking in a village in Africa, would people know who The Rock was?
I actually want The Rock to comment on that and see what he has to say.
I think his film work has been outstanding. I'm a huge fan of The Rock. I think he is phenomenal. But would that happen?
I'd say yeah.
I reckon people probably would recognise The Rock. I think people would have recognised Hogan, but unfortunately I think people are maybe a bit tarnished on Hogan these days. Is it me or is it quieter?
It seems to be.
Looks like it might be fuzzy as well. And we're back. There we
Is
go.
it better?
It seems to be. We'll have to go check the other part. But yeah, Hogan, Rock, fame, stuff.
Yeah, I'd love Brock to comment on that and see what he has to say on the matter, but I don't think he will. He probably won't waste his time in doing such a thing.
It is
But
true.
it is an extremely ridiculous comment for Dixie Carter to make. The fact that she thinks that Hogan is bigger than any single celebrity out there today is absolutely ridiculous.
I think in the 90s Hogan probably was, but not anymore.
Agreed.
People obviously still like him, but I think Hogan carries a lot of negativity with him these days.
Yeah.
Sun cream on his daughter, sex tape on the internet. I mean, none of that really bothers me, but yeah, I think he's like Ozzy Osbourne in terms of Ozzy being famous for everything but his music, because his music isn't that good.
Only as far as I know, Hogan hasn't bitten the head off a bat yet.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, I nearly said he hasn't had a stupid reality TV show, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, Hogan knows best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't know best that time. Go on.
Okay. Number 6. Which is,
Oh, you know you said it.
Cease. Yeah.
It is 6.
I am well educated.
Yes.
Okay. Live show recordings
Format.
format.
Basically, I only put this on there just because it does say that TNA builds the second show because they air live and then they tape a show after it on one night. So you'll get TNA coming to you for the next 2 weeks from like Corpus Christi, for example.
Which is the same thing they did in January in the UK.
It is.
Yeah.
But they'd still build the second part of the show as a live show, despite the fact it's pre-taped. I think this is what I'm getting at. Basically, what it means is now when they're going to do a live show, they're going to do have it on a tape delay. That basically means that they start. I think they tape tape it to start with, and then they'll air it live slightly later, which means that they can just do the entire show themselves live in front of the crowd without doing the little advert breaks in between. So they themselves would just go out and do this whole show, but people watching it live on TV, it will be running slightly behind, but you won't know that, obviously. Just means that basically it cuts out time for TNA, so they should be able to wrap up the first episode in about 90 to 100 minutes, just over an hour and a half, then they'll do the second taping afterwards. I guess it probably cuts down on cost. I thought that was interesting.
Meh.
I just think they should be careful about rushing or like running people into the ground with it. I suppose if you only do 2 shows a night, I don't think it's that bad currently. Do 2 shows a night, and then you get a week off. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, for the public wrestlers, it's a very good idea, yeah.
Apart from they don't get paid as much. So goes the rumour.
So goes the rumour, yeah, but they can't expect to be paid as much as that they would in WWE.
No, but they were getting paid per appearance. Now they can do 2 shows worth of appearance on 1 paycheck. So
True.
they are now getting paid less.
Yeah, but they probably do things they didn't do before, like meet and greets and selling their merchandise and all those sort of things.
And publicity stunts probably in radio shows and...
Exactly.
that.
So it's. I don't think they're out of pocket.
Also, we're going to do our own publicity and meet and greets and merchandise.
We are?
No. That was a joke by the fact that we don't have any of it.
Okay.
Time to go get the grain. I'm off the chain, never gonna be the same. Look out, world.
Okie dokie.
So you have to say this one in backwards.
Okay. Month of Rewind.
And I'll do it as a rewinding voice. It's not a rewinding voice.
I can do a rewinding voice.
Which means rewind of the month. Now you keep the microphone. So go on then, Rod. You're going to enjoy this topic. Go on then. I'll put this on there for you.
Okay.
It really wasn't that funny.
It was. Alright. I'll calm down now. Okay, rewind of the month. Sting.
I also put next week in there just because you want to have a rant about it. I always say next week, but we kind of covered that.
Yeah, we kind of covered that, yeah.
So go on then, Sting.
Right. I made a post on our boards a couple of days ago.
He means TNR. We don't have them like notice boards.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Wall.
But basically, what I got at was saying how Sting was past it, how he should hang up his boots and have more of a backstage role, more like a GM. In my opinion, he shouldn't be going for the World Championship. And younger people like Matt Morgan, Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, and pretty much anyone else who's a homegrown star or under their 50s should be like fighting for a championship. Sting's getting bland now, he's got no gimmick, he's kind of boring, blah blah blah. And not a few people on the board, but there you go, he can't please everyone.
I think we both probably agree though, if Sting actually did get back his gimmick, it would be entertaining again. I mean, you watch WCW things, he had his return, they don't really put any thought or effort into it, is what it seems like. With Sting's gimmick, you have like a whole Undertaker persona where they could do something completely different. They could get like the little girls doing like a rhymey thing, and they could just completely change his music, and they could just give him his trench coat back, and he could just appear and do something much better. And then even then, if he couldn't wrestle as he used to, it wouldn't matter because he can still perform through a persona.
Don't get me wrong, I don't dislike Sting, but if he had a good gimmick again where it's all dark and mysterious, trench coat, baseball bats, hanging out in the rafters, something interesting, just going to the ring and acting like a GM basically, then he'd be alright.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, he does just walk around in his Hall of Fame t-shirt, say nice things about people, scream at plants, and backhand people in the face during his matches. That is pretty much covers all of his main bases. I mean, I still like Sting. I mean, we both weren't big WCW watchers, so I mean, there's a whole section of Sting's career that I only know from looking back at rather than actually experiencing. So to actually have him active, I think it's like a privilege to sort of say that you've been a fan of Sting and actually can watch him compete these few years. It just feels like he's become like this stagnant, like he started to be interesting when he first came back in 2010, when he was with Kevin Nash and it was the whole deception thing, and he actually got the belt off of RVD, and he was like writing deception on it and everything, if you remember that. And he was still up in the rafters and he's doing these little crazy promos.
Yeah.
RVD was trying to find him in the rafters, and there's the whole thing of Sting looking like the bad guy with that, but obviously he was trying to bring Dixie onto Hogan's trying to overthrow the company, and all that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. If it was like that now, that would be alright.
I mean, they could do that better, obviously. But then when he did his Joker gimmick, he went through a good phase of actually that being entertaining, but then it got a bit much.
Yeah.
Whereas now he's just become Steve Borden, pretty much. That's his real name, if you didn't know.
Yeah, I knew that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you can actually see him in Shutter Speed, the movie. It's quite good.
That I didn't know.
Yeah. It's quite an old film. He was in some religious one more recently, which didn't look that good. Also, no, I won't say that because that might be somewhat... No, we won't go down that road.
What were you going to say?
But yeah,
what were you going to say? We can just edit it out.
no, I was just saying one of the comments was the fact that you said as a defensive, one of our readers, listeners, whatever, said that he was probably can't wrestle as well because he does meet and greets and movie roles. But I mean,
All stars do that.
exactly. And if you're doing that and it just means that you can't perform as a wrestler, then maybe you should stop.
The fact that he beat Matt Morgan when he can't even wrestle anymore and all he does is punch is just ridiculous. He even messed up his move.
He just sat down.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's the problem. I have more of an issue with the fact that they haven't done anything interesting with Sting. Now, if you go back to, I can't remember when it was, only last year, when he was still feuding with Bobby Roode. I think Roode had lost the belt at this point. They had a match. He could have been champion still. I don't remember. Sting took him to the top of the entrance ramp, and he Scorpion Death dropped him off the stage. And that looked like a turning point. Like Sting had finally lost and is going to go crazy again.
I thought that as well.
And then they just never acted on it. Nothing was ever said. I thought that would be interesting. Like Sting is just gonna go for it, but is just the same. It's just very stagnant. And I think part of it is down to creative to not really do anything interesting. It's just Sting. It's just his name as a cachet is going to give you views and buy rates and stuff. And yeah, there is that. But on the other flip side, a lot of the audience or your audience likes it because TNA offers this different level of wrestling. And unfortunately, Sting can't compete on that level anymore.
Sting can't really compete on any level, let alone that level.
He could probably do better than Hogan. But
True.
well, saying that, I actually really liked Hogan and Sting back at Bound for Glory. But that's just my opinion. But I think that's because the crowd made that match more than what they did in the ring.
They didn't really do anything.
No.
No.
But, yeah. Saying that, though, Sting versus Austin Aries, last month was it, or the month before, that was a really good match. And like I put on TNR, I don't know if you read it or not, but I do think that's because Aries wasn't threatened by playing safe with Sting. And Aries is really ruthless in the ring, and I think like when he wrestled Jeff Hardy, I've never seen anyone get pushed off of a ladder like how Aries pushed Jeff off of a ladder. He pretty much just pulled the ladder out from under him, literally. And that looked incredibly dangerous from like a ladder perspective. But when Aries fought Sting, he just hit him full force that most people don't tend to. And watching Sting taking the brainbuster and everything looked crazy. But then I think that brought out Sting's best as well to wrestle a competitor like Aries. And they did hint at doing it again, but they haven't done currently. But that's something I'm interested in.
We need to stress the fact that neither of us are anti-Sting fans.
I like Sting.
I think he's alright. I never saw any of his WCW matches because I never really watched WCW. I saw his very original stuff when he was in the Blade Runners of Ultimate Warrior, but I was always more of an Ultimate Warrior fan than a Sting fan, really. But what's happened to Sting now in TNA is kind of the same thing as what's happened to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is now more like Terry Bollea rather than Hulk Hogan. But yeah. So yeah, I hope we haven't annoyed any of our fans if they actually have listened to this rant.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. As long as we keep it as opinions, it's opinions, isn't it? It's the whole point of discussing things. I mean, I'm sure people out there will defend that Jeff Hardy is the greatest thing ever, and yet even he would say that he really sucks at doing anything else. Because, I mean, Jeff sucks on promos, but Sting's promos are actually pretty decent when he...
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
When he's not just doing his nice guy stuff.
That's why I say you should have more like a backstage role, like a GM or a manager or something.
Manager would be interesting. I think the GM thing is getting a bit boring. Sting was a bit boring as it. Hogan's kind of a bit boring as it.
Yeah.
They need Bischoff, personally. Bischoff makes a better GM. Bischoff is a great in-ring character. On-air character.
Yeah, he was quite good on in-ring, yeah.
Plus, people love to hate Bischoff, and I think that creates great dynamics, and you've got that sort of... I mean, one of the more entertaining things, if you look back on, like... I know it's going to the other company, but WWF, at that time, built the main Attitude Era on Vince McMahon versus Steve Austin. And obviously, the more entertaining thing that Austin's ever done is Austin and Eric Bischoff, personally, I think. That sort of leadership battle. When Austin was an active star and then when they're both co-GMs, Bischoff has that same hate him mentality, even more so than Vince, because Vince does at times play a face. I think people love to hate Bischoff, and Bischoff is good enough to build storylines from.
People love to hate the bad guys.
Yeah. So I think put Bischoff back on the GM role. That's what I want.
I'd agree with that.
Aces and eights, takeover, Sting. That's a good thing. Let's discuss that.
What, Sting being an aces and eights?
Yeah. Last week when we recorded it, I think we both decided that it's probably not going to happen with Sting returning to help Hogan. But
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I said all along that I thought he would be one of the aces, because I figured the aces and eights would be the aces as the main leaders and the eights as more of the henchmen.
What do you think if Bully Ray just handed the belt to Sting?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that would be interesting.
And then we'd have to make another blog about how we were wrong about Sting being boring.
But maybe that's why he's boring currently. I don't know. I highly doubt they will do that, but it would be really interesting if they did.
That'd be kind of like a WCW type of thing. Like if Sting just pushed him over his finger and then Bully Ray laid on the floor for him.
Yeah.
That happened in WCW, didn't it? I can't remember who it happened between it. Wasn't it Kevin Nash and Hulk Hogan?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say we'll just restart. I think it was fine. But yeah, what makes me suspicious of Sting being involved in aces and eights is because TNA are terrible at doing anything like minor in terms of like when they wanted you to believe that Angle had this like really good mentor-tutor relationship with Wes and Garrett. They did that by Angle being on camera telling them how much he loved them and hugging them and kissing him on the forehead and stuff. So Hogan being all loyalty and friendship and trust, and I trust you like no other, and you're like a brother to me, and all that kind of crap. That obviously is them forcing it down your throats of how much that these guys like each other, which probably means that Sting is more likely to turn on him. So they're like, oh no, they were like so close together.
The problem is they push it so far down your throat that it's obviously going to result in a heel turn, and nothing in TNA is surprising. It's very predictable.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
They used to be somewhat surprising back in 2010.
To be fair though, even WWE is predictable. I don't watch it anymore, but when I did, it's very predictable.
Another side rant, when people complain that they don't like TNA because TNA is predictable, but they like WWE. But WWE, you could predict all the matches of WrestleMania over a year ago, so
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
worse.
Exactly. Moving on.
Like a moomin.
Over and out. Dun dun dun. Okay.
You can add to that if you want to. I just thought of who was personally on my mind.
Right. Out of the list, I'm going to decide to choose and talk about Taz.
Yeah, Taz isn't either over or out, but I just thought it'd be interesting because I think you've got a better idea of where Taz should be placed currently.
Yeah. I mean, since his Aces and Eights reveal, he hasn't done anything different to what he did before. He's just been an announcer.
Also, it's really ironic that D'Lo Brown was revealed as an Aces and Eights and he gets fired from TNA, but for some reason they don't fire Taz, they just keep him there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, maybe we need to do something with Taz. He's kind of becoming a bit unnecessary.
It's not only that. I mean, I get the fact that he did that so he can be the voice of Aces and Eights whilst other matches are going on. Taz can be continually talking, but he doesn't even feel like a part of the club. You forget that he's there because you never see him with them. He's never backstage. He never does anything. That he just feels like they just don't bother with him. You said that he would be best in a manager role, and I think that would be better.
Well, I think he'd be good in like a Paul Heyman type role. Like when
Annoying.
pretty much. But where he's like the manager, like how Paul Heyman's like a manager of Brock Lesnar and CM Punk.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Because it'd be a really good talking piece. Because I mean, like Doc and Nux as an examples aren't really gonna take the lead as a microphone on promos. So I mean, if Taz represented them as part of Aces and Eights, they could just be like the big, quiet, tough guys who Taz sent out.
I
to fight
think
people.
What he should do is he should be in more backstage roles with Aces and Eights, and he should only be an announcer during Aces and Eights matches.
Or he should just come and go when he pleases. Why not?
Oh,
You just ditch them.
Good too.
Because I don't care anymore. He just go, disappear. He started like that when he first turned. He just doesn't do anything anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like whenever they do club decisions backstage, Taz is never a part of it, which never makes him feel a part of the club. The whole point of the club mentality is that everyone has their own equal share, and therefore you can vote things. That's how it works. So Taz clearly doesn't work in that format.
In the and I'm talking about WWE again, but in the Invasion angle, Paul Heyman was an announcer, and he was with ECW's faction, and he was obviously with them because he actually did more than just announce. Yet Taz doesn't, and he's thus become unnecessary. Yeah. Okay. Next on the list here is Robbie E and Jesse, who I think are quite a good team.
I think they'd be a great team. And they got chemistry, and I think they had chemistry from the second Jesse came into the company. It looked like they would probably put them together eventually. It's taken a long time to get there. But, yeah, I think they should just do that. I think they're good on screen. They can both wrestle. I prefer Robbie E to Jesse, but I do think they probably work well together. And just as like a second-rate sort of tag team, or tag team who just go around.
They're better as a team than Robbie E and Robbie T.
They're probably more suited.
Yeah. It's kind of like having Robbie E with...
Joey Ryan.
With what?
Joey Ryan.
No, I wasn't going to say Joey Ryan. I was going to say WWE's version of Robbie E.
Oh, Zack Ryder.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's quite a good group, I think. They could be quite a good tag team. I'd rather see them in the tag team matches than like the usual three.
And Chavo.
Yep. Okay.
Oh! You're not on the list, bro.
Okie dokie. Next on the list.
She'll appreciate that.
What?
Okay, on.
What are you talking about?
Just stuff.
Are you making random noises for the pleasure of your girlfriend? We don't talk about girlfriends and these things. We're all wrestling fans. Okay.
Go on.
Next. Mr. Anderson. Okay. Yeah, I think he's quite good, right? And like, he could easily be the leader of Aces and Eights.
I actually think. I mean, we're going to get to. I put D'Lo Brown on there anyway, so we could cover both for this one. But I mean, D'Lo Brown's done nothing since he was revealed as the VP, and the VP, for anyone who watched the Sons of Anarchy at least, the vice president is like your second in command, basically. He's high up, and D'Lo's done nothing, and Mr. Anderson's taken like such a leadership position that I think with D'Lo betting his colours in that match, they could lower his ranking and maybe promote Mr. Anderson to VP, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do, I think, yeah.
Because I also think, because we both like Mr. Anderson, but he goes in phases, and I think he gets bored himself, and I think that shows. Because when he has to come out and do his entrance, sometimes it just feels like he just really doesn't want to do it, and you just don't get into it.
I think before he was unhappy and he didn't know what to do and what gimmick to be in, but now I think he's found himself. I think he knows what he wants to do and how he wants to be and what gimmick he wants.
Yeah, I think they let him be himself, and I think if you watch him when he runs to the ring, he does it in like a really stupid comical manner, and he's pulling his stupid faces, and his sort of don't care attitude and like really over the top in your face attitude really plays well with that heel character, and he really fits into the Aces and Eights now, I think.
Well, that was the way he was originally supposed to be anyway. He was never supposed to be a straight edge or serious character. Even when he was Mr. Kennedy, he was like that.
Yeah, I do think, I actually think the attire suits him, and I think the look suits him as well. I think he pulls it off better than a lot of the other guys.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well.
So, I think he's found his niche currently, and I think it'd be interesting to see if they continue. It seems to be that he's on a bit more of a push, because he's got a bit more of a face time. So, yeah. I think it'd be interesting to see where that one goes.
Okay. Next, we have Chris Sabin and P.T. Williams, who I'm going to let you cover, because, to be honest, I don't really know much about them. Whereas you do.
Well, P.T. Williams is obviously is usually been at the top of the list for people who TNA fans want to see come back to TNA. I mean, he's been with the company, well, he was with the company for a long time. Back with his whole Team Canada days. I mean, P.T. Williams is good in the ring. Me personally, I've been less impressed with him since he came back, and he's as good as he is in the ring. It kind of feels like you're only watching him because you want to see his finisher, which is sort of not great. I mean, I liked Team Canada. I thought Team Canada was a good faction.
I didn't really know who he was, and then I was like, oh, he's the guy who does that finisher. And then that's about pretty much all I know about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it goes back to Mickie James's rant, that she was brought back, and then Velvet Sky was brought back, and then the spotlight went on Velvet, and then Mickie James got forgot about. And it kind of feels like P.T. Williams was eventually brought back, and it's supposed to be this big thing. He won his first qualifying match. He didn't win in the X Division title match, and now it's all about Chris Sabin. Which I think that's fine. I think Sabin is more entertaining, but it just seems that, I guess maybe it's just how it worked out, but it kind of feels like every sort of momentum they gave him to P.T. Williams is now completely shifted, and his is back on the probably a filler position for any X Division match going forward.
The X Division as a whole really has kind of gone downhill. I don't really know what to do with it, and the fact that they've made every single match triple threat is just ridiculous in my opinion. It's going to get very boring very quickly. And the fact that they actually they have 3 people you can vote in, to me suggests that they don't have enough people in there to be like fresh enough. Otherwise it's just going to be rehashed. It's going to be the same like 5 guys probably over and over and over that you're always going to see. And then you've got like your backburner of Sanjay Dutt and Mason Andrews, who are going to like sort of like half like part-time contracts, I think, with TNA. They're just going to get brought in to just fill in the cards. I don't think you're ever going to see them amount to anything. They're only there when they need them. I don't really think it's a matter of they don't have enough people. I'd say it's more of the fact that they don't know what to do with the people they have.
Could also be possible. I think it's the X Division isn't what it used to be, and I think it's dying out, and I think they're trying to find new ways of freshening it, but I think it's just a bit been and gone, personally. But I'm glad that Chris Sabin's back, and when I used to watch TNA before, Sabin was always one of my favourites when he had his whole original Hail Sabin kind of run. So I think it is good that he's back. He seems to be on a good push. Obviously, they pushed him straight back into the X Division. I don't know if that's going to amount to him winning the belt. It's quite possible he will. But I mean, usually everyone talks about wanting to be world champ. But I mean, they're giving him a lot of airtime, so I don't know if they're going to forward him forward into that sort of category. Although on the live shows and house shows, he has been wrestling with Bobby Roode in singles competition, so that's quite interesting. But obviously, he can compete with the likes of Austin Aries. They could probably put on a good main event matchup. But yeah, so that's everything we had to talk about. Ooh, which could take us to the male flag.
Male flag.
Technically male bag, but I said flag because
of Black Ops. He was playing Black Ops flag capture earlier, and he kind of got a bit flag obsessed.
It's called flag. Capture the flag, not fracture the cap. Flag bag. I think we should just call it the flag bag.
Talking of Black Ops
And flag bags.
and flag bags, we may start doing Black Ops pranks, like you may have seen on YouTube if you're a gamer fan.
We're going to announce this on TotalNonstopRewind.
Yeah, we may as well. Because some of them may be wrestling related. I said what we should do one where we just mention wrestling all the time and annoy people by doing that. So if you see some posts on our page which are of that, it's just us messing around on games, which I'm sure you'll all like because we have some quite funny material.
Okay,
moving on.
we didn't do the flag bag.
Okay,
So I checked their email inbox earlier. We have 6 emails, all from YouTube, because we uploaded a video.
yeah, and basically YouTube is like so interested in us that they personally sent us 6 questions about wrestling.
Question number 1. Feedback on YouTube.
This is basically where they want us to review YouTube as a company, and
I don't think this needs to be explained. I think they could probably figure out what that means.
yeah, but I like to explain things.
So basically, what we're trying to say is we don't have any mail. Unless... Oh no, who's at the door? With a question for TNR.
Moomin.
I thought you were going to do it like a different voice or something. You wanted to...
I thought Moomin was going to ask a question.
Oh no, who's that at the door with a question for TNR?
Moomin!
That's not a question.
Hello? I want to know who's your favorite wrestler?
Okay. Favorite wrestler? I'd probably say...
In TNA. Clear that one up.
I know.
Right.
Bad Influence. I know it's a tag team, but I don't think there's anybody who is more entertaining than those two. Alright. What would you say?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd put them in... I mean, if I have to... Currently, I probably don't really have a favourite wrestler currently. If I'm going to pick my favourite wrestler in TNA who I enjoyed at the time and who I'd like to see at the top again, would be Bobby Roode. I just think Roode's embodies everything a professional wrestler should be. He's got a good look, he's good in the mic, he's great in the ring, good music.
You only like him because you think he looks like Triple H Jr.
Yeah, I think he's better than Triple H.
I'd agree with that.
But yeah, when Roode had the belt and he had his new instrumental music and he carried the belt and he wore his suits and he had his big robe, to me that he just embodied a world heavyweight champion. I think he kind of had a bit of a crappy run because not all of his matches were great. I'm talking.
I know.
Not all of his matches were matches were great. Flag bag.
I've completely lost it now.
I'm just Moomin. And what was I saying? But yeah, I enjoyed his run. I personally think his run could have gone on for longer. In fact, I think it would have gone on for longer if it wasn't for the popularity of Austin Aries, which I think messed up their plans. Anyway, thank you for your question, Jim.
It was Moomin, not Jim.
Jim Min.
Jim Min.
Jim Min.
Okie dokie.
I'm Jimin.
So yeah, hopefully the next.
Me, I'm Jimin.
Hopefully,
Jimin.
the next time we do this, somebody will actually ask us a question, which we can cover in our next blog.
That's not. Let's ask my mum.
Yeah, but she doesn't watch wrestling, so she's not very good.
Probably what I want in my sandwich.
We could ask our only viewer at Moment 2, Sarah.
I've watched it.
Though she'd probably ask us a question about Moomin, so.
I'm Jimin.
Okay. Right. I am going to go away now. So until next time. Shut up.
He's still here.
I was saying goodbye.
I'm going to go away now. Is what he is.
I know.
I've been waiting for this for hours.
I'm going to leave and say goodbye to you all.
And we're going to miss you.
That's kind of a creepy voice.
Jimin.
Adios.
What are you going to do? Your movie-centric kind of finish? No, I thought that you could do one this week. You said you wanted to do it last week and you did a funny voice for it and people found it funny. At least one of them. Yeah, but I don't know what to say this week. Neither do I. Okay, should we just end it like this? I think we should try and think of some kind of movie reference, but I don't know. I kind of wanted to do, but I don't know what you would say.
Okay, Jurassic Park. Oh my god, there is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Run away! How's that?
I'm going to leave it running in case I kick the microphone.